All right, let's check out this Dunlop Flow 1.5 millimeter pick. I'm going to tell you what it feels like to hold, how it hits the strings, what kind of control you actually get from it. By the end of this video, you're going to know if this is a pick that you want to try or not. First of all, I want to talk about the size. You can see it here next to a Jazz 3, which is about the smallest pick you can find, as far as I can tell. It actually looks like it's just a little tiny bit bigger, but it feels quite a bit bigger in your hand. So even though there's maybe a 1/4 of an inch difference in height, it feels like a much bigger pick. And the other difference, if you've ever held a Jazz 3, it has a really pointy tip. The Dunlop does have a pointy tip as well, but also has this kind of beveled edge, so it doesn't feel as pointy and doesn't seem to get stuck on the strings as much. All right, let's talk about grip feel. If you struggle to know how hard you need to hold a pick or how tight you need to grip it, how it feels in your grip is a really big deal. The texture of different picks can feel slippery. They can cause the pick to kind of spin around a little bit. There's all kinds of things going on. This one here has this kind of, see this sort of it's like a sandpapery type thing with the logo, and it's on both sides. It feels really, really nice, and you don't hardly have to squeeze this thing at all for it to feel really good in your hands. It doesn't ever feel like it's gonna kind of spin around or come out of my grip, and I don't need to, I don't need to death grip it. So this grippy sort of texture is really nice if that's the kind of thing you like. Another thing about the grip is how it feels with sweaty versus dry fingers. Some picks feel really awkward when your fingers are very dry. They feel very slippery. And some of them feel awkward when your fingers are a little bit sweaty. This one actually feels really good either way. So if you kind of have more dry fingers, this sort of sandpaper grip will get in there pretty good and keep it, planted. And if you start to sweat a little bit, it actually kind of gets sticky. Regardless of whether you have a sweaty grip or a dry grip, this pick feels really, really nice. The next thing is, how does this pick feel based on different grip styles? I use the sort of traditional side finger sort of pad thing, and this feels perfectly fine to me, whether I kind of chug or, no matter what I do, this pick just feels really nice. Like I said, it doesn't feel like it's going to spin around or I'm going to lose it or anything like that. If you use other type of grips though, like the sort of trigger style or 3-finger type thing, I don't see any reason why this pick would feel any different. If that's what you're used to doing, this pick is going to feel fine just because you get that little bit of an extra grip. I don't use those. To me, those are awkward, especially the trigger style. So it wouldn't help me to try that with this pick. It really wouldn't make any difference. Okay, the next thing about this pick is the thickness and the flex. At 1.5 millimeter, it's not the thickest pick that you can buy, but it's pretty thick, and it really does not bend. It definitely, I can bend it if I really try, but the strings are not going to make it bend. So this feels really secure when you're picking, no matter what you're picking. I don't feel like there's any flex to it at all. So if you kind of like a pick that's a little more floppy, then this might not be for you. Next up is the edge and the tip feel. As you can see, this entire pick has a beveled edge all the way around, including on the tip, which the tip is, try to show that real quick. You can see that the tip is relatively sharp, but it's also rounded, and that kind of allows the pick to just slide off the strings really, really easy, regardless of kind of how you pick or whether you're doing upstroke or downstroke. It just feels like it rolls. It just kind of wants to jump over the string when you hit it, if that makes any sense. It doesn't feel like it wants to get stuck. Feels really good. It's just a super easy pick to get used to. Because of the beveled edge that you have here on this pick, you don't get that scrapey sound that a lot of picks have. So if that's a sound you're looking for, you don't really get it with this. This might not be the pick for you. But what I mean by that is a lot of picks, when you're picking on the unwound strings, you get kind of a scrapey sound. But this one you can hear. I'm just going to mute the sound really quick. It's really kind of glassy and rounded. It just, like I said, it just glides off that string really good. It doesn't, even on the wound strings up here, you You get a little bit of scrape. Obviously, the string makes the noise no matter what kind of pick you have, but it's not overbearing. So if you're not a fan of that sort of more aggressive sound on these thicker strings, this pick will be fine. If you do like that sound, then you might want something with a little more texture on the edges, but this sort of rounded really just gives it a rounded sounded. That was stupid. Don't include that. If you like that more aggressive sound, you might not like a pick with this sort of rounded edge on it. The next thing about this pick is the control that you get from it. Because it doesn't flop around in your hand and it doesn't want to spin around and slip out, I feel like you can really just give it a very light grip and you can just sort of relax while you're doing your thing. It doesn't want to go anywhere, and it means you can your picking mechanism can just sort of, you're not trying to grip really hard to keep from dropping it and stuff like that. So next, let's talk about the price. These picks are about $2 each. You can get them all over the internet for roughly $2 each, and they last a long time. This is actually not a new pick. It's been used for a little bit. I tend to use my picks until the edges are really worn down, until I start to get that scrapey sound. These picks last a long time. Because of the material, they just don't really rough up too easy. So, at roughly $2 a pick, I guess it's a little expensive, but they last a long time. To me, totally worth it. Okay, final verdict. Is this the pick for you or not? If you like to chug, this is a really good pick. It feels good in your hands. It sounds good. It's easy to play. It's just easy to maneuver. It's easy to get some speed without it feeling like you're getting caught up on the strings. Upstrokes feel okay. Everything feels pretty good. If you drop your pick a lot, you're not going to drop this. And overall, I would say this is a really solid pick to try. I definitely recommend that you give it a try if you can get your hands on one, and hopefully you love it.